Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing negative self-talk by exposing the influences it has in our lives and how we can start to banish this clutter that really interferes with moving our lives forward. For those of you new here, my name is Lee and I guide others in their journey in recovery from harming patterns that have impacted our lives. And I'm particularly interested in getting the ball rolling on this topic because negative self-talk really prevents us from being honest with ourselves. And honesty within ourselves is a key component of any type of change that we seek for ourselves. So I'm going to detail 4 steps to start intercepting these thoughts that bring lots of unwanted focuses and hurt feelings, and you will likely notice some shifts in how you talk to yourself in a short amount of time by putting these practices into play. But just before we get to work on these steps, I want you to think about this common stronghold that negative self-talk has over us. It creates a rift within our personality, and this makes sense when you think about how you speak to those that you care about. There are naturally occurring ways that we speak with those people in our lives. You would not tell them that they're useless when they are trying to help themselves. The same, you wouldn't tell them that they don't deserve happiness, or you wouldn't curse them down to the lowest. You know that about yourself. You don't even have to think about it. It is that deeply ingrained. So when we talk to ourselves that way, it really has an impact on the way we connect with ourselves, or more to the point, how we disconnect from ourselves. So this impact of our negative self-talk has on our being is very negative. It's quite damaging, not only in those awful feelings it brings on, but in the immediate and long-term consequences. Bottom line, it has a bad effect on us when we are not kind. So let's get right into the first step of combating negative self-talk, which is getting in the habit of initializing decent, accurate thoughts about yourself. Now, this is one of those steps where I often say it seems easy and obvious, but getting in the habit of affirming some good things about yourself certainly is easier said than done. The tip here is don't make this over the top. Make these good statements that you say about yourself, the things that you know about yourself to be true, things that you can relate to. It could be a trait that you like. It could be something you're proud of. It could be a goal achieved or something someone said that was flattering to you. Maybe a good decision you recently made. And do this. Get in the habit of stating one or several decent, accurate things about yourself. This serves us in 2 ways. One, we are fortifying ourselves with some positive, truthful things. And secondly, this can get us in the habit of sticking up for ourselves when that initial voice of negative self-talk comes blasting in on us. So make it a habit, and here's where the work comes in. Start saying nice things about yourself when you wake up in the morning, for example. Or maybe when you're filling your mug, or maybe when you're folding clothes. Take actual moments during the day to really have an honest chat with yourself, detailing the good things about yourself. So make sure to get into the practice of initializing these accurate, positive qualities about yourself. It sounds easy, and you may have to force this practice in the beginning. Remember that change is work, and it's important to get comfortable with speaking honestly with yourself, about yourself. The key is to give more time to the positive words and allow yourself to respect the good within you. The next step is step 2, and that's to admit that negative self-talk is a bad habit. And by bad habit, I don't mean morally, because this isn't a judgment. I mean the damaging and the hurtful kind of bad. Now, we don't like thinking about our bad habits. Most of the time, we don't like being stuck in those bad habits, and we certainly don't like the things that it brings to our lives. But typically, we know deep down that with effort and awareness that we can move away from unwanted habits and become healthier, both mentally and physically. But How does identifying negative self-talk as a bad habit help us? Because we have all said or thought, I know this isn't good for me, or I know I should quit this. How this helps comes with the practice that you will bring to it. So every time you find yourself putting yourself down or saying that you don't deserve something, stop and say, I want to break this habit. Simple as that. Affirm it. Because this is the beginning of your new habit, which is ridiculing your negative self-talk as a bad habit. And you got to be swift and consistent with this one. Bear in mind, the key is awareness, which is the entry point of any behaviors that we want to break. So when you start bashing yourself, pause, breathe in, and tell yourself, those words are damaging. Those words are a bad habit, and bad habits can be broken. And it's all true stuff. It's in good practice to train your mind to stop the unwanted words by deliberately connecting with yourself and affirming that you want better for yourself, that you want to continue to bring ease into your life. Step 3 in banishing negative self-talk, make a liar out of those negative words. So this is where you intentionally step back and challenge the truth of what you are saying about yourself. And think about it this way. When you are talking to someone and you know they haven't been properly informed, we typically have the urge to give them the facts. Not to prove that we're right necessarily, but to help keep somebody informed. So with that in mind, the moment you become aware of your negative self-talk, get into the habit to look around and ground yourself in the proof that these words are not accurate. And it can be anything at all. So I'm going to use some general example scenarios here just to help explain. So perhaps you were just reminding yourself that you can't get anything right. Well, stop and take a look around and note the proof of the things that you can get right. And replace those words of I can't get anything right with I can get things right. And a tip here, during those mindset shifts, activities, and practices, don't focus on the things that you didn't get right. Step over that and pay attention to the strategy of the step and focus on the things that prove you are capable. Otherwise, it could make for a really long day. Now, here's where I want to shift gears for a moment and let you know something that you already know. You are going to be coming up against some heavy hitters in the world of negative self-talk. Some things that you will have a hard time to prove. For example, how do you prove that you don't deserve to eat an apple? Or how do you prove that you are worthy of love? These are complicated things to navigate, and this is where you need to gauge what resources will help you the most. But for now, you are here because you want to transition negative self-talk statements with some guidance and lots of dedication to yourself. Remember, the key to this step is to literally stop the negative self-talk and challenge the truth of those words. Just that practice alone of breaching the flow of the words and taking time to create a way to disprove them is helpful in the overall goal. The key is remaining dedicated and consistent to your desire to be less burdened by negative self-talk. Step 4 in banishing negative self-talk is to talk to yourself about negative self-talk during your good moments. So this step involves taking time within your grounded times, your reflection times, whether you're going for a walk or you're journaling or you're soaking in the bathtub, and have a calm engagement with yourself about the existence of negative self-talk within your life. And make this a conversation about getting to know yourself better. Become your own therapist in a way, and start asking yourself questions to gain insight into your patterns and answer your questions to help create an insight to yourself. Ask yourself, how would I function with less negative self-talk? How would less negative self-talk change the way I approach my goals? Ask yourself, what have I done that is so bad that I need to talk to myself so bad? Questions and answers are a really good way to get to know ourselves And quite often, they guide us to the answers that we need. And this is a big step in any discovery. And this requires you to commit to explore yourself with honesty, with intentions to develop that connection with yourself. So another step that goes hand in hand in speaking honestly with yourself is to commit banishing negative self-talk from your life by making a list of the potential harm it brings to your life. And for me, I put relapse at the top of my list at one point, because being bad to myself was one of those things that my life had no more room for. Just that I had to accept it. And I will get you started by sharing my list of things that negative self-talk was doing for me. Preventing personal growth, wrongly influencing activities, eroding my confidence, creating bad moods, interfering with relationships. So start creating a list of the damages that negative self-talk brings to your life. And think of events that you didn't attend, or sad moods that you felt yourself in, or times when you talked yourself out of doing something that you really wanted to do, or just said some really bad things about yourself that really took the wind out of your sails. Step back and look at the list of potential things you were missing out on. And with practice of these steps, this list will shift from things that you are not enjoying to a list of things that you have accomplished. So be sure to dedicate yourself to this. Definitely work these strategies into your life to further help you with this as well. I have designed the Banish Negative Self-Talk Guide to further help you explore and create some structure to combat the patterns of negative self-talk. So please keep going with this. Get your workbook. I put it in the link below. And if this was helpful, give it a like, leave a comment, let me know if it makes sense to you, and subscribe to get weekly notifications of free guidance. And please, in any type of recovery or self-discovery, share this with others that could use some direction to navigate their intentions. And be sure to reach out to me in the link below on my website, recoverywithlee.com. And you can also see me in Facebook and Instagram of the same name. So remember, effort, awareness, discipline equals change. We'll see you soon.